Hello, you wrong'un. Hello, YouTubers. Hello, world. Welcome to video 3 of 10 of 10 things you didn't know about Alex Belfield. This one is brand new and exclusive. Show me the money. Where did the money go? Here's where the money possibly went. But before I get into that, I just want to tackle the elephant in the room, which is, why now, Adrian? Why come out now? There's been lots of, obviously mentally challenged people have been saying, why now, Adrian? Why are you coming out now? Why didn't you come out before he went to jail? I'll tell you, it's very simple. It's called sub judice. You cannot, 1066, a man is innocent until proven guilty, until tried by the law, by a jury of his peers, and then possibly sentenced by a judge. But a man is innocent until proven guilty, and you can't interfere with that process. And part of that process is to make sure that the individual or individuals has a fair trial. So Alex, in his process from magistrate court through to Crown Court and then jail, his process was subject to sub judice. Nobody could really comment on it. So some of the things that I've talked about, I couldn't put that out online because all that happens is that the judge drags you in front of the court and asks you why. Because you are held in contempt of court. Now, obviously, I'm paraphrasing because I'm not a legal and I'm not legally trained, but I do know about sub judice. You can't give it jaw while somebody's at trial. And I am very well aware of a radio station that shall remain nameless for the moment, who was giving an opinion on a criminal trial somewhere in England. And the judge went, whoa, stop the trial. I want the presenter that said it. I want them in front of the court. Went in front of the court, got a proper lambasting from the judge. And the judge says, you cannot believe how close you are to a custodial sentence because of what you said. Sub judice. You can't pass comment on a trial until the trial is complete. Innocent until proven guilty. So that's why I didn't come out at any point in the previous 18 months, because the legal process was ongoing. Sub judice. Do your own research. Go and do it. You'll find what I'm telling you is the truth. So there is a reason why I didn't. Sub judice. The judge would have had my derriere straight to the court and straight into jail. So, and again, initially I said that I was going to do a video. My first video was going to be end of August around Diana and her being bumped off because I worked for Mohammed Al Fayed at the time. So when the whole Alex thing was coming to its zenith, because I know some of the people who were involved in the court case, some of them are my friends. I'd known Alex since he was 17. I wanted to wait because Alex was a friend, and I'm trying to work out now what happened to someone that I've known for 25 years. Yes, it's true crime, but I've known that individual, and this is a very complex case. There's lots of moving parts, although it's true crime, and he's been sentenced to 5.5 years. But for all the moving parts, there's only a handful of individuals involved, and I know them all. All. But it's not who you think. And where did the donation money go? So 2020 was very lucrative for young Alex. What possibilities could there be as to where the donations went? Now, I'd love your thoughts and I'd love your comments below this video, because I'd love to know what your take is on what happened. You may have been a fan of Alex. You may have watched some of his videos. You may have a very good retentive memory as to what went on at the time. But I'd love your thoughts. And if you can identify the possibilities, because this video will give you further insight into where the money went. So let's start with a timeline. Timeline, December 2020. Why then? Because Alex was making videos before that on YouTube and was monetized well before that. Well, December 2020 was when champagne sippers appeared. And I remember the furore online by people discovering this and going, my whatever. Champagne Sippers, it was incorporated as a company in December 2020. Now, you need to understand that. Why? Because it gives you context as to what was going on at the time. Alex had created this new company and had it headquartered at First Secretaries in London, because you have to have a secretary for every company. I don't know whether Alex is the new secretary of his Champagne Sippers, but the previous secretary resigned. Now, there were donations. There were donations at the Lamley. We've all seen those videos of the checks falling out of cards and cash. So the Lamley, he was getting donations at. He was getting PayPal, GoFundMe. For most of 2020, there was a lot of money coming in. Now, you know, £1,000 is a king's ransom to some. It might have been £100,000. But I will get to what I think the amount currently stands at. Now, what I do know is that the donations, there were donations prior to Champagne Sippers in 2020. What I don't know is where those donations went. But I'm about to give you a good insight. Now, Champagne Sippers, it is liable under Section 477 of the Companies Act 2006. Now, that provides an exemption from the requirement of the Act relating to the audit of accounts. That is the audit of accounts of small companies. And Champagne Sippers has to meet 2 out of 3 of the following criteria for 2 consecutive years for the accounts to be audited. Now, the accounts currently stand unaudited. Champagne Sippers would need to turn over not more than £10.2 million. Not done that. Secondly, the balance sheet total not more than £5.1 million. It's not done that. And 3, no more than 50 employees. So Champagne Sippers doesn't meet any of those 3 criteria, let alone 2 of them. And it means that he doesn't have to have his accounts audited. He has an exemption because of the size of the company. So let me drill down into some detail. In the first year of Champagne Sippers, remember, December 2020 to December 2021, after all the creditors and debtors and the tangible assets, he had in the bank £292,507. In the second year, which was December 2021 to December 2022, that's after he went to jail, was the same. After all the creditors, debtors, tangible assets were all sorted out, he had at the bank, or has at the bank, £359,527. Now, he paid a fairly hefty taxation bill in 2021, year 1 of Champagne Sippers, which was £67,500. It went down to nearly half of that in 2022, £35,000. There were other creditors in the £30-odd thousand, but where is the donation money? Now, the accounts went up online. They're a public document, so you can go and view them yourself if you wish. And you can see that what I am telling you is factual. It went up on the company's website, 9th of May, 2023. It's only a couple of weeks ago. 9th of May, 9/5/2023. At the same time, I saw a post online which gave a very, very accurate take on the finances of Champagne Sippers. This individual said 400 grand in the bank and 200 grand donation money in PayPal and Metro Bank. And when I first saw that, I just dismissed it. I don't know why, I just dismissed it. Because I thought, how could you know? And now that I've seen the actual accounts, that person was unerringly accurate. So let me just, as I say, I have to read some of this because it's detail and I have to get this right. In short, bearing in mind that Champagne Sippers accounts are unaudited, So they might just be figures close to the true amounts. Leslie Tooley Limited appear to have drawn up the balance sheets, and I'm led to understand from my source that Leslie Tooley might be an old friend of the convicted stalker. So in the bank, currently, Champagne Sippers has £406,000. Better than a kick in the backside. His tangible assets, which will be the car, the computer, the stuff that he uses to do his YouTube, some of his decorations, 23 grand. And he can set off sort of wages of staff and other bits and pieces of 70 grand for the year. Now, the net current assets stand at, and I know this is just numbers, but I'm putting them here for any future reference that you may need, because they will be referenced in the future, I promise you. So we have to give some detail. And look, I'm not an accountant. I have accountants in my current family. I have people that understand, profit and loss, accounts, all that kind of. I'm just a radio guy, gob on a stick. But I know some numbers, and I can tell you the top line is £406,000 in the bank, and total assets, less the liability stuff he's got to pay off, stands at £359,000. If only I was a penny behind him. So he's got 359 grand in the bank. One bank, Champagne Sippers bank account. But my source tells me, and you can see from the accounts, that he didn't get those earnings, an extra £67,000 this year. He didn't get those earnings from merch and live shows. Look at the accounts notes on page 4. You can see why. So where did he get the extra 67 grand from? He was demonetized by YouTube. No merch, no live shows. How did Champagne Sippers earn an extra 67 grand over and above the year before, which was a very successful year? So there may be a few reasons why the convicted stalker may have posted the accounts for the year so early. One, to avoid the situation he got into at the beginning of the year. Remember, the company was almost struck off. Get the accounts posted and he doesn't have to worry about them at the end of 2023. It actually came within a few days of the company being struck off in 2022. His accounts, although posted as 25th of November, weren't received by Companies House until the end of the first week of January. The strike-off date was any time after the 15th of January. It was close by a hair's breadth. Now, Alex may have posted them, or someone on his behalf, may have posted them to be used as evidence of assets should he lose his upcoming defamation cases. Although a court would view the company as a separate legal entity, the court would view the holdings of the company as Alex's assets. He's the only director of the company. So he could be hoping any award would be limited to cash in bank for the company, cash in his own bank accounts, and any other sizable assets like his house. And I can confirm the court has the power to request fully audited accounts of the company. And that costs a few bob if you have to go down that route. The intelligent amongst us could have the feeling he is trying to show himself to be transparent about his total assets. But I think he has some nest egg frittered away somewhere in another bank account or even a friend's bank account. He should be aware that his Metro bank account details will be known by the police and any opposing legal teams. So let me explain action fraud, because some people are asking the question, is there a fraud case? Will there be a fraud case? And how would we know? Well, having done a bit of research, action fraud is the team that would sort it. Action fraud is run on behalf of all other police forces by the City of London Police. If there are any local victims, it would be passed on to the local force. Say somebody said, I've been defrauded out of money in Nottingham or Derbyshire or Leicestershire. then Action Fraud would pass that victim onto the local force to investigate. But they may not treat that Alex's case as a priority. After all, he's not really going anywhere, is he? Certainly for the next couple of years. He can't really hide any assets, as they can and will be traced. They may have decided not to pursue a case against him on the balance of probabilities. In a criminal court, it's beyond reasonable doubt, and in a civil court, it's beyond reasonable doubt and in all probability. Sorry, I'm just trying to get them sorted in my head. So he can't really hide his assets. And they may have decided not to pursue a case after discussion with the Crown Prosecution Service, the CPS. Now, what would happen is, the police are the evidence gatherers. And what they do is they put the case in front of the Crown Prosecution Service, as they did with the harassment and stalking original trial. And the CPS said, yes, pursue it. You've got a case. Fairly confident that you'll get a conviction. So the CPS might say, no, it's a bit muddy, not sure. We can't get a fraud conviction, so we won't progress it. But the CPS would have to contact anyone who reported him for fraud as to the results of their inquiries. I haven't really heard anything about an investigation being dropped. So they may be still pursuing. And maybe that's why he's getting all of his ducks in a row as far as champagne sippers is concerned. So there's a new insight, new accounts posted on the 9th of May, Companies House website. It's a public document. You can go and see for yourself. You can do your own research. And if you want to know more about sub judice, just go to the government website. They'll soon tell you. It is a thing, and it can be a very nasty thing if you get on the wrong side of a judge. Not nasty as in nasty, but, you know, it would be your own stupid fault and you could end up in prison. It is that serious. So coming in the next videos, I'm going to answer some of your questions, including police and why they didn't wear epaulets on their visit to the convicted stalker's home. I'm going to do a video on behind the scenes at and on the infamous Vegas trips. I've got detail that is nowhere else. And also, I'm going to do a little video about Alex, the troubled child star, because I knew him when he was a teenager and he told me lots of things. And I will be bringing that here. Oh, and as a little aside, talking about banks and money and liquidity, just a bit of advice from me, because 2023 is still very uncertain. Don't have more in the bank than you can afford to lose. Why would I say that? Let's see what's coming. Imagine if there was, hypothetically, imagine if there was a power cuts and we couldn't access banks, petrol stations, NHS, internet, no communication tools. What would happen to your money? Just asking for a friend. Thank you for your likes, your subscriptions, but most of all, your indulgence. My name's Adrian Allen. Another video coming soon.